Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. So I am now up to 13,479 shares of NIO. I bought a couple of shares yesterday. I bought another 10 shares today. NIO is trading at $4.11. It's 13 cents up this morning. The 52-week low is $3.61 and the 52-week high is $11.35. I want to thank Money Making Melvin for this article going forward. And I've always spoken about infrastructure, and that is going to be the key factor in winning the EV race. I've spoken about battery swapping stations, battery as a service as the winning business model and the only winning business model as to why NIO will dominate the landscape and be one of the only EV companies that not just survive, but we will be the leader. So this article was sent to me by Money Making Melvin. It's from The Drive. That's the name of the website. It says, can't force customers to change their mind on EVs. American Honda CEO said they were quoting him. Honda's top brass says that no matter how many incentives EVs get in America, consumers won't switch if the right ecosystem isn't here. This is another reason why America is in desperation, desperately needs a company like NIO to come here to help with the battery swap stations, to help balance the grid, to sell energy back to the grid in times when it's really needed, to help balance the grid, because even if you flood the streets right now with tons of charging stations and EVs, the grid won't be able to handle it. Excuse me, guys. He said things can change rapidly in the automotive industry. At this time last year, and not to mention 2 years ago, foreign and domestic automakers were bullish on EVs. Everything pointed to do mostly electric future within a decade, with everything from crossover to pickup trucks. Switching to battery power today, however, things are different. And a lot of reason for that is I spoke about it, and some people don't like to hear it, but the Biden administration has put so many tariffs against the Chinese EV companies from coming here that it has actually slowed down innovation and it has slowed down progress going towards green energy, but also towards helping us here transition in a much faster pace. But anyway, Ford announced Wednesday that it's axing its plans for an electric 3-row crossover. So they were going to come out with a 3-row, large SUV type vehicle. They stopped that. They're not going to do that. As well as the next generation Lightning pickup truck, that Ford pickup truck that they have. They're not going to do a next generation. New EVs are leasing for record low prices here in America, and used ones as well has dropped in value, considerably dropped in value. The reason for this, well, it's complicated. But if you ask Honda top executive, the biggest area of concern is the EV ecosystem. Speaking to a group of journalists during Monterey Car Week, President and CEO of Honda Accord, Kazuro Takizawa, and Honda's Global Executive Vice President Shinji Oyama explained that while EV adoption is steadily increasing, the downturn of the EV market is tied to a weak EV infrastructure. And here in America, we put the carriage before the horse. But China was genius in building out infrastructure at a massive rate, and it's still happening, especially when it comes to NIO. We have the most charging stations of any EV company in China. We have the most battery swap stations of any company in China. Of course, there's other battery swap companies in China that is geared towards the commercial aspect of things, but we're the only that's doing it for the regular consumers. But we're building out. That's why William Lee said, have patience, and he's talking about the vision of 2 more years to become profitable. But when we do, the empire that will be established will be unbreakable, undefeatable, and unstoppable. It's like upgradable, chargeable, and swappable business model. Yes. So he says the regardless of how many corporate or government incentives, this is Honda CEO, EVs get in America, customers won't switch if the ecosystem isn't here. And that's what's happening. You can't force the customer to change their mind. But not only that, we also spoke about it, like the power tools of the past, of one of my subscribers from Canada rightfully said. The power tools of the past, when the battery was done, the car was done. This is not true with a Neo. The battery is changeable. It's swappable. So it holds its value. The car holds its value. But we just can't force the people living in, says the Midwest, with no charging stations. So he says in the Midwest, you can't force them either. There's no charging stations out there. Said Takizawa, even with incentives, they will not change from ICE to new energy vehicles. I believe it will be very difficult to force people to go for it. We need to prepare the ecosystem gradually and let them migrate little by little. In America, that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to creep and crawl. Unless, and I believe it's coming, it's going to happen, they're going to allow them, just like I said with Toyota, history is your greatest teacher. Just like with Toyota, when we stopped them from coming to America, they went to Europe and the rest of the world, in the Caribbean, Africa, South America, Central America, Canada, etc., and they had better cars than America, and the same thing is happening again. It's changing. We're closely monitoring the number of new charging guns per electric vehicle, so it's not a very rapid growth. But gradually and steadily, it is increasing, added Takizawa. The sentiment has been shared from the retail side, not the automaker. So this is the sentiment from the customers. This is not some, CEO trying to push this agenda that it's not working here in America. Most recently by auto dealer giant Rick Hendrick, he says, and I quote, "You can't force customers to buy what they don't want," said Henrik back in March, adding that the EV market will be there one day in America, but we're not ready for it. Honda executives were present in Monterrey for the unveiling of 2 new Acura products in Monterrey, not here in America. One completely different from the other. One was the Acura Performance EV concept, which sets the stage for the brand's upcoming electric vehicles. The other was the Integra Type SHRC prototype, which teased a new line of performance parts for performing ICE vehicles. So they're still way far away. This is just prototypes. The company top man on electrification and strategy also shared his thoughts on the EV downturn, adding that Honda expects that it will take time and many steps for mass EV adoption in the US. He also explained that the more EVs there are on the road, the more rapidly the ecosystem will adapt. So hopefully, with the changing of the guards here coming in America with the next election, as a business-minded individual, we shall see the Chinese automakers coming here building, especially with NIO, building out, helping build out the infrastructure, partnering up with Ford, maybe GM, and so forth, and the electrical companies here in America, just like they're doing a lot of partnerships in China. It will not just be one partnership. So I hope you guys found this video to be informational, inspirational, and motivational of where we're going in the future. And even if we don't enter the American market, as we blanket Europe and China, we will be building a massive trillion-dollar corporation. So guys, all I ask is for you to hit that thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel, we're waking up the middle class for the first time to get a major piece of the pie. And like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.